Hello, and today I'm going to show you how to make a fried potato salad. So this is the short order section of the kitchen, and typically this is like your fast food establishments, things that use a deep fryer, okay? So instead of just making a basic, chicken wing or french fries, we're doing it as a potato salad, and it's hot, and it is really, really good. Give it a shot. Don't knock it till you try it. So on the first day, you're going to be prepping all of your vegetables and your dressing, okay? So, obviously, I'm going to switch. The first thing we're going to prep is our potatoes, and you're going to prep 2 pounds. You're going to use a russet potato. You're going to wash them, and then what you're going to do is you're going to slice them about 1/2 inch slices, just like so, and then you're going to end up cubing them, okay? Now, the first day of doing this potato salad is super easy because it's just cutting. The second day it's going to take some time because you're actually going to be frying up your potatoes, okay? So you go through and you do long pieces like so, okay? Now potatoes are very starchy, so they stick, okay? So you're just cubing them. They don't need to be exactly perfect, but you want them small. The smaller they are, the faster they will fry, okay? Now I'm going to submerge my potatoes in water. You're probably saying, why? When you store these over water, we're going to wash off the starch, and what happens if you just store a potato like this in the refrigerator, they actually turn black. It's called enzymatic browning, okay? So it's really important that on the first day, you store them in water, and then you'll label this container, cuisine chef, period, whatever period you are, and then the date. And I would put short order or fried potato salad, all right? Just like so. You don't have to peel off the skin or anything. That will just get fried up, okay? So the next thing we're gonna prep, so my potatoes are done. The next thing we're gonna prep is our celery. You're gonna use 2 stalks of celery. All right, so I'm just gonna take off the top, take off the bottom, okay? And it's telling me to dice my celery, okay? So I'm going to take my celery, just cut it in half, and now I'm gonna cut it in half lengthwise. I cut it widthwise. Now I'm gonna cut it lengthwise again, just so I have smaller slices, just like so. Just like so. Because I want it to be tiny little pieces. Alright, put those pieces together. And now you're going to do your tiny little dice. Okay, this is going to add a little bit of crunch to your salad. This is not warm, but when the potatoes are warm, it kind of will warm everything else. But this gives a nice texture, the soft, crispy potatoes, and then the crunchy celery. Okay, so I'm just going to add that to my little custard cup. And then my other vegetables I am just going to explain to you. I've already prepped them. We're going to have a little bit of red onion, all right? Just you only need about 2 tablespoons, all right? And then dill. Dill is your spice, and we are using fresh dill. It's very potent in smell, all right? Then now we're going to be mixing our dressing together. I will be right back because I'm going to get a whisk. All right, so we are back, and I finished prepping my potatoes, and now I'm going to make my dressing. So the base of this dressing is mayonnaise, 1/3 cup, all right? So we're going to take that mayonnaise and just put it right into here. Now you can pre-measure and make it on day 2, or I suggest you make it on day 1 because all those flavors will marry, and it will be super easy, and then all you have to do on day 2 is focus on frying the potatoes, which takes a long time, all right? So we have our mayonnaise, 1/3 cup, and then we have 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. If your teacher doesn't have Dijon, you can always use regular mustard, it's fine. This adds a nice zesty flavor to it, and a lot of kids are like, I don't know, but it's really good with the potatoes. All right, so you can take a whisk and start mixing it, or you can use a spoon. I am not making a ton, so I'm just gonna mix it with a spoon. Okay, so that's the base of our dressing. Super simple. It calls for salt and pepper to taste. So I'm just going to do a pinch. Again, you can always add more. I'm going to do 2 pinches, okay? But you can't take it away, so don't overdo it because it's just going to be overwhelming for your classmates, okay? And then a pinch of black pepper. Just mix that up. All right, and then to that we're going to add our celery, our red onion. This is all of our crunch. So we have the nice creamy dressing that will melt onto our warm potatoes. the crunchy red onion that's not too potent. Red onion is the least potent onion. And then we have the crispy celery, and now we have our dill, which is going to be our flavoring. All right. Yum, yum, yum. So then what you'll do is put this in a baggie. Those flavors will marry overnight. And then on day 2, you're gonna fry. So I'm gonna keep going. So here's what we're gonna do. Your teacher will either have, there's a couple different variations depending on what room you're in, what campus. You might have an industrial deep fryer, which your teacher will talk to you about. You might use an air fryer. You might use a stock pot like I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you this stock pot. So I have oil, and I filled up the oil in a stock pot about halfway, okay? If you're doing this method, your teacher will have the oil warmed up for you, because the second you come into class that day, you're gonna get your potatoes. On here, you have paper towels. On one side, it's a sheet pan lined with paper towels and parchment paper. On one side, we're gonna take our potatoes out, and we're gonna start drying them off, okay? If I take wet potatoes, and I put it in hot oil, it's just gonna bust, okay? So it's really important that you dry your potatoes off, all right? So I just take those potatoes, I'm gonna take some paper towels, and I'm just gonna dry them off, okay? Then what you're gonna do very carefully, using a slotted spoon, okay? You're going to take those potatoes that are dried off to the best of your ability, and you're gonna set them in your oil, okay? Now what's happening is this is lots of moisture. The moisture is cooking off. So when you deep fry, it's called the swim method. The food is swimming in that hot oil. So it helps you to stir your oil around, all right? Now, the first time, if you're the first period using that oil for the day, it's gonna take a little bit of time because that oil's not seasoned, okay? If you have it the second period, it's going to be a lot faster because that oil is already hot. All right, and now you're going to let these cook, depending, until they're light golden brown and a little bit crispy. Now, when you're deep frying food, there's something called carryover cooking. So even though it seems like they're golden brown, as they cool, they keep cooking internally, and they'll get a little bit crispier. So keep that in mind. Okay. So I'm going to let these cook, but in the meantime, you can see I have some that's already done. They're light golden brown. I probably would have, I was afraid with the carryover cooking that they were going to be overdone, so I probably would have let them stay in for about 2 more minutes, but they're soft in the inside, and that's really what matters, okay? I'm just going to keep paying attention to these. So essentially, if you are using this method, you want a couple, you're probably going to want 2 to 3 stock pots of frying. You'll be on the range. Because you need the exhaust. If you are using an industrial fryer, it will be really fast for you. And then if your teacher has used the air fryer, you'll probably use 2 or 3 of them as well. Okay? So as soon as they're done, like I said, you're going to put it over here. And then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put this all in my bowl. You can also put this in a hotel pan. Now, I should be wearing gloves. You will be wearing gloves. Just like so. Let it dry. If you want to season these potatoes with salt, you absolutely can. There is salt in the dressing. Okay. I'll just put a dash of salt, just because I didn't put too much in there. And then a dash of my pepper, just like so. And then I'm going to take my dressing, put it right on top of those warm potatoes, and then you're going to stir it around to make sure that all of that dressing coats that potato. All right? And then, bon appetit. Enjoy.